Hi there, my name is Kim Clarkson. I'm an Assistant Director in Career and Leadership Development, and I use she, her pronouns. I'm here today to talk with you all about starting a new student organization or restarting one. As I've gone through this presentation or as I go through it with you, there will be a number of questions that will help guide you in the process, some of which were really intended for a live presentation, so bear with me as some of the questions may not necessarily apply directly to you. We are the office that's responsible for recognizing our student organizations, and I've been doing it for a while, so anything I can do to help you, I'll give you our email address and contact info several times in this presentation. So as we go through starting a new org, thinking about what type of organization you're looking to start or restart, really kind of dreaming big and thinking about what you hope to accomplish as an organization is going to help not only with defining your group, but also with helping other people get inspired by the vision of what your group can accomplish together. And then think about what questions you're hoping to get answered so that as you go through this process, if you think of questions that I'm not getting to, that you make sure you reach out and ask us those at a later date. So the first thing to know about recognition is what is it and why do it? Recognition is an annual process at UW-Whitewater. It's not something you do once and then you're recognized for life, but we do it every year. We do that because policies change, leadership changes, missions change. And so it's important that we reconnect at least once a year with every one of our organizations to confirm that you understand what's expected, but also that you know what your resources are. Recognition is our way of affirming that your organization officially exists on our campus. It gives you credibility. It legitimizes your organization. And it's intended only for groups that are more than 50% current Whitewater students. It's not an alumni group, it's not a community group, but it is a group of students who can also invite in some other people as long as both the officer roles and the majority of the membership belong to current Warhawks. Groups become recognized for a number of reasons. One of those reasons that I want to mention is reserving rooms and facilities at UW-Whitewater. The general reservation of space comes at no cost to a recognized organization. Being recognized allows you to use the university's name and to use our logo, both the hawk head as well as the university logo itself. And then it also allows you to participate in campus-wide events like homecoming and the involvement fair and other recruitment opportunities. It legitimizes your org. That's really what it comes down to. It helps you to say to your parents or family what your group's all about and that it's official. It helps you to recruit new members because they know that you are connected to the university. It also helps with donors and sponsorships and fundraisers when you can confirm that your group actually is connected directly to the university and has an official role. So questions, if you have any, should be sent to us. Our email address is involvement@uww.edu. If you need to know any reasons beyond looking at our website and everywhere else, you're welcome to email us those questions. So, next step, you got to figure out if your organization is one that can actually be recognized at UW-Whitewater. And generally speaking, there's a couple of basic requirements and a couple of basic limitations to know about. First, you need to have at least 2 current Whitewater students that want to start or restart their group. And you need to have a faculty or staff member who works for the university to serve as your campus advisor. Your group cannot be a duplicate of another group that's already here. If you want to start a philosophy club, that's great, except we already have a philosophy club. So we wouldn't be able to double dip into the fees that cover the electricity of the room reservations and all of those other assorted costs that the university covers for a student org. If you're wanting to start a Greek organization, the process is another step longer and actually starts with a process called expansion, where the Greek community comes together to determine if there's enough student body interest in belonging to the Greek community to add another chapter. Once that's done, then the recognition process is completed. And then if you're a group that wants to get started here that has chapters elsewhere in the nation, in the state, in the world, our campus needs to review and approve our connection to those national or international or state organizations. We want to make sure that their governing documents don't indicate any type of discrimination or things that don't abide by the rules that our campus follows as far as all students being welcome to participate. You can see an overview of this process and policy outlined in the UW-Org recognition policy, which the link is found on the screen in front of you. It's also found in Connect under the Resources tab and on our Career and Leadership Development webpage. So think about this as you're sitting there. How sure are you that your group is going to be able to be approved? If based on everything I just said, you're like, yep, good to go, I'm a 4, then you should just move right along in this process, and you're likely not going to spend any time unnecessarily doing things you shouldn't do. If you're in that 1 or 2 range, or even in the 3 range, I would encourage you to talk to staff and student involvement first before you move forward, so that you know for sure with confidence that your group is something that can be recognized on campus before you go through the work that it takes to start the group. So we talked about why become recognized. We talked about the basics of can we be recognized at UW-Whitewater. The next step is to prepare for recognition, because as a new organization, you have some extra steps to do. So the first thing I've already mentioned, you need 2 or more students committed to starting the group. They both should be here this spring and also next fall. So it shouldn't be people who are graduating. And really, the more you have interested in starting the group, the more likely it's going to succeed down the road, especially if you are an upperclassman. If you're a junior or a senior, I highly suggest that you have some other people of different age ranges that become members of your group right away. Because as you leave, you get busier, you go on to internships, you get your jobs, you graduate, there needs to be someone ready to pick up the reins. And it's very difficult for groups to transition if they have no younger members to take on the responsibility of leadership. The second thing, you need to name your organization. Both the name and if you shorten it to any kind of acronym need to be unique to your organization. And you can search through our Connect website, uw.edu/connect, for any of our organizations, as well as their acronyms. So a good example of that, let's see. We have had in the past a secular student association, and we have a sociology student association. So both of those would use the same acronym. So in fact, the sociology organization has a name, Sociology Anthropology Student Association, which changes their acronym, makes it more inclusive, and is a better fit for their group without overlapping with groups. It just causes confusion for students as they're trying to figure out what groups to join, what's out there for them. The third thing to plan or think about is to be able to define the purpose of your organization. What are you going to accomplish? You should be able to say that in one sentence, and ultimately every member should be able to say that in one sentence, and then confirm that it's unique to campus. Again, you can use Connect to do that, or you could talk to the Student Involvement Office staff. We can help you kind of dig through and see if there's any potential for overlap with other groups. The fourth thing to do, which is not as important maybe as the others, but it can trip you up a little bit, is to determine which category you're likely to belong to. Now, if you're related to a major or a minor on campus, chances are you're going to be an academic professional organization, and that's your category. But sometimes we have some groups that might go in special interest or might go in our club sports category, or groups that might want to get started that are more social in nature. When we find out really what they're about, they're trying to become a Greek organization, and so they either need to go through the expansion process or not become recognized. So it's important to make some of those decisions because there may be extra steps. There may also be extra resources for you depending on the category. The fifth step, who's going to be that advisor? That faculty or staff member who works for the university, who's willing to support you. There are a couple of campus requirements. They're pretty basic. They need to meet with leaders monthly. They need to meet with the organization members a couple times a semester. They need to be a faculty or staff member whose job is not contingent on being enrolled in school. So like a graduate assistant could not continue their work if they dropped out of school, so they're not eligible to be an advisor. And that's really about liability protection, right? It's about connecting you strongly to the campus so you have both access to information, but also some protection that comes with the larger university name. Take some time to think about what it means to be a good advisor to your group. They absolutely don't need to have any specialized skills in the area of your organization. So if you want to start a skydiving group, great. You don't have to have someone who even likes heights to be your advisor. What they do need to do is understand how important it is that you are a student first, an org member second, so helping you be successful in your academics, and then helping you navigate the campus. And if you're creating a skydiving group, you're talking about quite a bit of risk related to that, and so there will be a lot of campus navigation to go through to get the paperwork done and to get students involved. So define what a good advisor looks like for your group beyond what the minimum requirements are. Writing your constitution is the sixth step. These don't really need to be done in this order, but to me this is the most logical way. This document is where you put it all together. It is what you share with members and what you share with campus that defines who you are as an organization and how you're going to run yourself. Do you have dues? How often do you meet? What are the officer positions and what do they do? What happens if someone breaks your rules? How do they get kicked out? What defines a member? And there's a lot of questions that maybe you've never even had to think about before. So we do have a template that helps you walk through the process and write something for yourself. You can see the link for that there. We also have a folder on our Google Drive of over 150 constitutions of current organizations. So you can take a look at somebody else's, decide what you like, build your own based on what you like about other people's. And I will go back for 1 second here to remind you to think about what a good advisor is and what a good advisor does. Those are really important questions that are going to help guide you along the way. So then you've built the materials you need. Now it's time to submit and ultimately become recognized. And the steps are all outlined on this screen. The first one is you need to memorize this web address. This is where the whole recognition process happens. Every step is here. Every set of directions is here. Even where you go to check to see what's been done and what's left to do is at this link, tinyurl.com/orgrec2122. You'll log in, or you'll go to that link. You will press the login button and you will be brought to a Google login page, but you will log in with your campus email address and password. It'll bring you back to this tinyurl page, which is in our Connect site. From there, your next step is to choose which of these three general recognition categories you belong to. If you are going to work with recreation sports on a daily basis, then you are a club sport and you'll follow the green path. It's also labeled if you have any impairment related to color. Greek organizations follow the purple path, and everybody else is in the student org recognition path, which is blue. So that helps you because there are some extra steps or differing steps depending on which of those three categories you fit in, and this will help you to make sure that you only do what you have to do and don't do things that aren't going to mean anything to you and your organization. So now you know which category you're in, and now the next step is to pick your pathway. If you are going to be a president for your organization, typically the students who start the org are the presidents. The majority of the steps are going to be completed by you, and you can see the suggested pathway listed to the right of the word president on the form you can see, or the flyer rather. The first step is student leader certification. That's a training that's online. You watch videos, you answer questions. There's a confirmation form for presidents. You'll update or create your Connect portal, and directions are found at that tiny URL address we started at. And then you're going to sign up for a fall meeting. And if you're in the blue student org category, those are the steps the president needs to do. In fact, those are the only steps the presidents can do in that particular case for the spring semester. If you're a club sport or Greek, there's 2 more forms that you will complete that are normally done as part of Greek standards or other club sports meetings that we've combined in order to make things a little bit more streamlined and easy for you to follow. The last step for presidents then is to attend the meeting that they sign up for. So you sign up for it this spring, you'll attend it next fall. There are, I think, 6 sessions to choose from, so you'll get to choose one and then attend that, and that will finish the process. Other than the president, there are 2 other people that need to complete steps. But I want to mention one thing that's really important. If you plan to have co-presidents, which a lot of our new orgs choose to do, 2 students are getting it started, so they kind of both take the leadership role, and makes a lot of sense. If you're co-presidents, you are going to do all of the president steps twice, once for each of you, with the exception of the portal. The portal just gets submitted once, but the certification, the president confirmation, and the signing up and attending the org recognition meetings are all requirements for you as presidents, both of you. However, because you have a second president, you don't need the bottom step, which is the second member completing steps to the process. The next part or next path is for advisors. So that faculty or staff member or members that you have found to serve as your advisor need to confirm their role. They need to confirm they understand their responsibility and their rewards. And then the last step, if you don't have co-presidents, is to have a second active member complete the student leader certification. If you are in the Greek world or in club sports, there are some extra things for the president to do. If you are in the club sports world, every officer must complete the officer confirmation form. And that's a standard process that's happened for years. We're just combining it with the larger recognition process so that it's more streamlined. Everything but the attendance at the meeting needs to happen by May 15th. That's our deadline. And that's what's going to open doors to you to participate in the involvement fair, to be a part of homecoming, to be fully recognized for all of the incoming freshmen as they come to campus next semester. It's the best way to go to set yourself up for success. Thank you so much for watching. If you are watching this for UCast, for the Organizations of Excellence, please make sure that you provide in your reflection any feedback you have on the information that's been provided. If you have any questions along the way, involvement@uww.edu is where you need to go. Thank you so much.